Hello everyone, welcome back to another NTW3 tournament video, 2 in 1 day. Yippee! Today we will be looking at the battle H&R versus Hiller. Come to think of it, I have a lot of H&R videos about the tournament battle. They all seem like pretty good battles though, so I'll continue covering whatever I think is a good battle. But yeah, let's move right along into the battle itself. So, we are viewing this from the Imperial side, which is being led by the Hiller clan for now. In the center here, no, this is the right flank, pardon. In the right flank we have the 10-pointer Italy, commanded by Wayne 9. On the Danish side on the far left over there we have Papa, commanding the Danish. Yes, the Danish, sorry. And then, in the center, we have 10-pointer Hispania, being led by Metu Hammer. That is, I butchered that name, but well. On the coalition side for today, we have the, where is he? Is this him? No. No, yeah. On the far left of there, we have the Russia 10-pointer 1812 being led by General Hero of Vengeance. The Russia 9-pointer on the right side over here, the Life Guardia, is being led by Danikil. And in the center, we have a Suvorov army being led by Niceman Czech, or CZ. Yeah, so a mostly Russian force going to be coming up against the French advance. Let's check over the armies when we can see them. So, for the Danes, we seem to have a decent core of infantry. Nothing too special. 2 grenadier units though, so that's pretty good. Medium cavalry. Ooh, the Life Guard till Hesse, a very expensive heavy cavalry unit, so he'll be wanting to use that to its full potential. He has both. Oh, two heavy cavalry units. Alright. Okay, and a medium. So, a bit unorthodox. I usually find Danish players who use a lot of light cavalry, because they're decent. Light cavalry is pretty decent. But still, Danish heavy cavalry, I guess, can be useful. It's quite fast for a heavy cavalry unit. For the Italian player, he's got a fast infantry line with loads of, as it's supposed to be as Italy. Very fast, small numbers. But yeah, they are currently using the right side road, and they are going to be linking up with their allies down the center, trying to consolidate their men. For the cavalry, we have 1, 2, 3 cavalry battalions, 2 dragoons. I don't think I see any Italian light cavalry. So, that's on them. Alright, that's perfectly fine. It's better than having no cavalry at all. And then we have Hispania in the center here, who has a dragoon. Oh wow, he brought the Orleans. So, Hispania heavy cavalry unit right there. Again, unorthodox in my opinion, but well. And for the infantry, he's brought a bunch of good, decent line infantry with a couple of foreigners, some Polish people, and oh, that's it. Okay, all right, cool. So mostly French army for Hispania. For the Russians over here, we see their army coming into view. They have some cheap light scouting cavalry in the center here, and they've got their Opel Shunny leading the way with some Krasier Astrakhan also mixed into the mix, so that's a heavy cavalry unit for them. And some decently fast Russian infantry unit, which are all good at melee. So, the Danes have set up their artillery here, however, he is going to notice that the Russian line's getting dangerously close, and he's going to limber them up, I think. And yeah, he's limbering them up right now. He's going to withdraw from this position. We're starting to see a couple of Suvorov troops here. Musketeer. Okay, so he's brought a decent amount of musketeers. So that's cool. Still, I hope to see some Suvorov grenadiers somewhere in the rear here, hopefully. And then all the way over here for the Russians over here, we do not see any of their units yet because we don't really. Oh no, Italy did bring scouting cavalry, flanking cavalry. I think he's gonna use this to try and maybe snipe out an artillery piece or two. which can be very, very useful in a tournament battle if you manage to snipe out the enemy's artillery or general. Preferably general, because killing the general is really useful. Let's see. We'll scan on a bit until some action happens. The French players have managed to put one of their light cavalry units, the Hispania player, one of their really, really cheap, small chasseur units in the woods here, so they'll be able to see what the Suvorov player is doing here. He seems to be holding at the moment, content with the positions they have. And the Danish as well also have tried sneaking in some cavalry through the woods. However, I think they have been spotted by the Russian player and they're going to be encircled. I mean, look at the minimap here. This poor one light cavalry unit is just surrounded by Russians. But it looks like the Suvorov player has split his army. And he has a corps of infantry marching down the road here. This is his grenadier corps right here. He's got a ton of infantry for Suvorov. He must... I don't see any Suvorov light cavalry or cavalry at all. So Suvorov must have gone infantry heavy, and he must have brought a lot of grenadiers, really good grenadiers here, and just a ton of infantry. Again, unorthodox, because... I mean, Suvorov Cossacks, they're pretty good for scouting and sniping enemy artillery. They're really good. I enjoy them. But, yeah. This light cavalry unit is going to have to extricate itself from these woods as a Russian infantry unit is going to try and push them out. They're still hidden though, so... Ah, here we go. Here is the Russian 9-pointer heavy cavalry. The Life Guardia Cuirassieri. It's a cuirassier unit. I'm not going to pronounce that. And the light cavalry unit on the flank here has been spotted by some Kazaki of the Life Guardia. So Life Guardia seemingly brought... Ooh, he also brought the Lansky. Okay, so he's brought a decent amount of cavalry. All of Life Guardia's infantry and cavalry are pretty expensive, about in the 1,000 gold mark. So, yeah, really good units. Russia 1812 at least is going to continue its advance down here into the right side, straight into the Danish player. He doesn't look like he's going to be stopping anytime soon. He's sending his Opel Sheni over. But this is interesting. I do not know what the plan is currently. Obviously, they want to try and push through this forest with their Russian infantry. But without cavalry support, this Russian corps of grenadiers and infantry aren't going to do a whole lot. It seems like, for the most part, the Imperials are content with defending a wide area. So we are going to scan on. The chasseurs in the rear are trying to get back to them, get back to the army, and I think they'll make it. There's no light cavalry to stop them. So let's see. Yeah, definitely an attack is going to be made by the Russians onto this flank here. The French are moving into position to confront the Opel Sheni militia. The Life Guardia player seems to be moving and extricating his army from the French right all the way to support a consolidated push over here and try and win via numbers. The Danish heavy cavalry is going to try and, I don't know, scare these Opel Sheni, but the Opel Sheni are going to hold their ground and they're going to let off a volley. Nothing too deadly, as these are militia units, but they do kill a couple, and every little bit counts. France running his... Why do people run? You don't need to run! France running his troops into position here, the Terribles, Legion Rogue, and they're going to be pushing up onto the flank to secure it. Opel Sheni running into position. I think they're... I mean, the Opel Sheni for Russia, they are meat shields. They are the meat shield units making way for the Russian bayonet assault, which I think is going to happen And here we go, the Russians are going in. A very well-timed charge here by the Moskova. I mean, even though the Opolsheny are militia, they've got incredible melee stats, and they're very cheap. So they're going to drop the unit's morale and take down 30 men already. However, France does have cavalry in the mix and is going to scare off this militia unit eventually. Denmark is here to protect the assault. This is a very, very risky move by Russia. They are attacking with one of their armies against potentially 2.5 opponents, as Italy's cavalry is already here. So we'll see how this goes. They are... I mean, the Imperials outnumber the coalition massively in terms of cavalry. The cuirassiers... The Russians do have 2 cuirassier units, but the Italians have brought over their 2 heavy cavalry, plus with the Danish and Hispania heavy cavalry, they outnumber, I think, the Russian heavy cavalry by 2-1 in this sort of little pocket here. If I were the French players, I would honestly consider taking this engagement immediately and attacking as quickly as possible. But instead, they are going to let themselves take the defensive on these bayonet charges, and they are going to hold their position and let the cuirassiers attack them.
Our men are running, sir.
So the first French cavalry runs from the field. And here we go. Here comes the massive bayonet rush. Wow. Again, okay. What France should be doing and what Denmark should be doing. Put pressure on the Russians, on their flanks, on their weak flanks over here. No squarables at all facing an entire Russian Danish line with cavalry support. The Danish should easily be able to clear up these militia units with their cavalry and just whop up this flank while Hispania deals with this flank. But currently, Hispania is not taking any initiative on the flanks here, and they are not pushing the weakened areas. Life Guardia now is pushing up and trying to delay the Italians from helping out their allies. But yeah, the chain routing is starting to happen in the center here. The French cavalry is not being committed and their infantry is being slaughtered by the Russians' bayonet charges. Honestly. And the Danish still, and the Hispania itself, has all this cavalry in the rear and it's not being put to good use trying to attack the flanks. Instead, they're focused more on just plugging this gap and trying to put more and more units into the meat grinder, as it were.
Our men are running.
It does seem to be working. They are blunting the initial Russian charge, but a secondary charge by the cuirassier into the unsquarable Hispania lines are easily going to tear through these units here, and is going to be supported by Russian infantry soon. And here we go, finally it seems like the Danish have realised that they need their cavalry here, and they're going to push in and destroy these Opolsheny on the flanks guarding it. They should really, again, push up more cavalry into here. They need to start breaking these Russians, which they seem to be doing. Russia being incredibly overconfident in this area, strike against 2.5 players. It looks like finally the momentum is going to go to the Danish and Imperial alliance. The cuirassiers have broken. Now only 1 cuirassier remains. The Life Guardia still trying to tie down an entire French army by themselves, which they are doing handedly. But yeah, Russia is losing a lot of its infantry now. It's lost the momentum that it had, and there's even a bit of... That's not Finn. Anyway, there's a bit of more bayonet charges coming on here. Denmark now finally realizing that they're going to help out. They're going to push in. They're getting stuck on a grenadier square here, and that is not going to be good. They want to be pushing through. They need to start shooting down the square. But yeah, finally the other Danish medium cavalry has gone into the Russian unsquarables, and they're going to break through here. And the Russians realizing that they've lost here are going to try and extricate themselves. The Danes still losing a lot of their heavy cavalry on this square. And they're getting stuck and they're getting killed on it, really. Where's the Danish general? The Danish general really needs to be up here for morale purposes, because eventually these guys are going to get tired, they're going to get exhausted, stuck on the Russian grenadiers, and they're not going to hold out for long. Yeah. I think the Danes will lose their infantry units here and their medium cavalry, which is a real shame, because they had a real opportunity to push through here while the Russians were distracted with their micro. And that's a real bloody shame. Let's check over here. France, Italy being aggressive on this flank. It is a 10-pointer versus a 9-pointer, and they do outnumber the Russians in cavalry. However, the Russian cuirassiers are nothing to scoff at, and they are going to turn and fight the Italian heavy cavalry, and these guys should easily win in a prolonged engagement if there are no flank charges. The Cossacks are beating the medium cavalry sent here. Again, France Italy does not have its general nearby in this area, so morale is not going to be great, but neither does the Russian general, and France Italy is sending chasseurs around the flank to take out the Kazaki. And the Kazaki do break, which is a real shame, as it is a very expensive light cavalry unit and one of the only light cavalry units that Life Guardian can field. So this cuirassier is going to try and extricate itself from the mass of heavy cavalry towards its infantry, and the rest of the Life Guardian lines here on the left are going to just continue what they do best and tie down the French-Italian hordes. So overall, I think the Russians did not do as much damage as they hoped there. They got the initial charge off, they played aggressive, however they lost a large amount of infantry and cavalry in doing so. The Russians seem to be continuing to try and go in. Another bayonet charge here going forwards. Still though, the mass of Imperial cavalry is going to allow for them just to wipe up these Russians. They should easily be able to charge through all of this. If they had the guts to do it, that is. As we look over to the left flank, it seems that a chasseur unit has managed to go for Alexander of the Russian army, of the Russian Life Army, and is pushing away from the cav engagement, and this cuirassier and these Russian infantry units are without a general. Sorry. Yeah, so their morale's not going to be the best. They are outnumbered here in terms of cavalry and infantry. Unfortunately, these are not the best Life Guardian units, so they're going to rout soon enough, I think. It should do at least, but this cuirassier, oh dang, this cuirassier is doing a lot of damage against these cavalry units. Very tired currently. And yep, that's gonna, okay, no, the Russians have actually managed to win here. Their melee superiority being proven once again. I think this is due to the Italian general not being over here to support his own men. Yeah, the Russians managed to break through on the far right of France and kill 2 heavy cavalry units from Italy, which is a devastating blow. And France is going to send in another one of his heavy cavalry units to try and block up this attack. Let's check back over onto the Danish front. So, Suvorov has finally managed to make it to the Danish flank. Oh no! These brave grenadier Lomonosov charging straight into the Danish guns by itself. Oh no. This Suvorov Grenadier unit is really expensive and is really good, and to see it just wasted like this is unfortunate. The Danish have lost another one of their medium cavalry, and it's going to lose this infantry as well. So, Now the tide is turning once again into the Russian team, it seems, as more of their units are finally starting to push through here. They do not, however, have the cavalry needed to really make any dedicated pushes, so they have to slowly whittle away the Imperial cavalry. Over here, I think, yeah, the last
Glorious victory, sir.
France-Italy heavy
And
cavalry
soon
unit
to
has
be
been
yours.
broken, and the general now is in the open alone. So France-Italy has lost all its cavalry. I think they got overextended here and they got too confident. Italy's going to be pulling back away from the Russian infantry, who are now going to try and assault there. Russians, once again, proving themselves to be very aggressive in melee, attacking against the French lines. The Hispania is going to countercharge with their cavalry, but there's nothing really supporting this central position, and the Russians are going to get here and they're going to overwhelm these lone Danish units. That's Fim. That's totally Fim. Anyway, yeah. So Russians being aggressive here and managing to push through and even go for the Danish general here. If they manage to get this guy, the whole Danish army is probably going to bloody rout. Denmark is trying to extricate him from this position. I think he will be able to make it out alive. But very well played so far to Suvorov and to Russia for assaulting this position without cavalry superiority, something I wouldn't do personally. But ouch! Some poorly timed Russian bayonet charges through up a hill and I think through some forest here, and they are going to get gunned down. Ouch. Ouch. Over here, France, Italy is just trying to run for its life at this point in time. It's going to make, I think, a defensive position around its artillery and try and hold off the Russians. It's even peeling off more of its units to help over there. Yeah. The Lifeguard has fighting down to 50 men. The Dragoons are coming in trying to save the Danish lines in melee. And it's going to easily rout off this depleted Russian unit right here. And this poor Grenadier unit is going to get shot down by the Danish infantry. Just absolutely massacred by the volleys that they're putting out. The Danish cavalry is getting stuck on a square, but they are going to run away from that position. Russians once again pushing in another bayonet charge straight into the French lines. Very, very aggressive people. There's only been 30 minutes left. It looks like, however, Denmark is stuck in combat, and the fire orders have been given from the Russians, and they're going to try and shoot into the Danish cavalry. They're going to try. They're certainly going to try. There you go. There's the volley. Not fast enough though, and the Danish are going to extricate the cavalry. So the Suvorov advance here has been stalled for somewhat, and a nice cavalry charge onto the Opoucheni are going to get the charge buff, and they're going to withdraw from here immediately. The Russians have managed to get back into melee though, and they're going to go after these depleted French infantry lines. The Grenadier Poland's fighting down to 29 men, trying to hold off the Russian infantry, doing a nice job at it.
Our men are running, sir.
However, they have finally routed at 20 men. Suvorov, hey! Suvorov has brought artillery. Look at that. The one gun howitzer. Perfect. Anyways, so yeah, France is now withdrawing. It's not liking this fight apparently, and Italy is utterly afraid of Life Guardia now. It's continuing to sit in this position and try and defend. There are points here that they need to garrison and they did not garrison, and I think the Russians are going to try and get to this house before them. However, wait, what's that? What is this? This is a cavalry unit. Wow, okay. Let's watch this. I'm voting for the cavalry unit. That's my bet. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on! Yeah! There you go. Alright, get back to your bloody unit, you stupid git. Yeah. Denmark pulling back through the trees, and Hispania setting up new lines to face the Russian horde, who somehow are still pushing despite the lack of cavalry that they have. I don't know how they're managing this, but they continue to be aggressive, continue to take the initiative in these fights, and bring the bayonet straight to the French, so they're doing a real good job of that. So we're going to scan on a bit. So the Russians are going to try and go for the Danish, who are stuck in the forest, and their men are exhausted on this flank over here. But they should be able to, the Danish should be able to walk away even, as long as the French hold this position. Just because the forest is going to slow down the Russians if they try and go for them. Ouch, ouch. These French light infantry units doing a lot of damage, but they're going to withdraw. They are afraid of the Russian bayonets. They do not want to get anywhere close to these infantry units. Oh yeah, this unit did a bit of friendly fire here, killed like 5 Russians. I don't... Oh, Life Guardia has managed to pull itself away and attack through here. An Italian unit came back in the rear. How interesting. They could go for their... I think they're going for the 4-pointer. No, okay, never mind. They're not going for the 4-pointer, they're coming back to the main army. Alright. Oh wow, Russia has gone in for another bayonet charge straight into the French lines. However, they are very tired. Some of these units are very tired, and they again do not have cavalry support. And the French are going to countercharge with their cavalry finally, and it's going to break these poor Russian morale. However, the Russians do have Kutuzov and Alexander Suvorov boosting the morale. The Lancers Vistula going straight for the Russian general though. Even more bayonet charges coming onto the French lines. And even bypassing the French unit entirely to attack this one in the rear. So the Danes and the French trying to hold on. This flank is now fighting against 3 factions at once, the Life Guardia, Normal Russia and Suvorov, whilst Italy really isn't playing its part here. It's garrisoning the towns, is trying to win by LOC, and is not helping out its allies at all. French morale is dropping. Their cavalry is engaged in prolonged combat with grenadiers. Another beautiful charge onto the line infantry over here, and they're going to stop it from shooting for a bit. The first grenadier unit from Denmark has broken, and their other flanking unit is going to most likely break as well. These poor Vistula Lancers are caught in combat, and they are also going to rout. So France now has lost most of its cavalry, and its infantry are taking huge amounts of penalties by the friendly routing penalty. And they're going to continue, the Russians are going to continue piling on, continuing to charge, not letting the French regroup, and using their numerical superiority in this area. What's this? Ooh, a Ulanski charge going straight for the general, I think it is. However, they are going to be stopped by the dragoons. So yeah,
Our men are running, sir.
it's going to be a very close one. Morale is dropping everywhere. Basically, whoever runs first is going to cause morale debuffs everywhere for their alliance. And it looks like France is getting the worst of it at the moment. They're losing a lot of men, their units are depleted, they've been fighting this entire game against 2 players, and yeah, their front line is going to collapse, unfortunately. Their Dragoon unit is being shot into the side by the Jagirsky of Life Guardia, and it's going to, unfortunately, break eventually. France, Italy has finally managed to arrive and is attacking the flank of the Russians here, trying to turn the flank. The Danish pulling back, continuously pulling back and trying to draw off the Suvorov army. But yeah, the Hispania player has lost his center, and now it's up to the remaining Danish and Italian infantry to try and pull this one off. This Dragoon unit is still alive somehow. It went through all the way over here into the rear line of the Russians. Still, the Russians are not going to stop. They're going to do a charge straight into the firing infantry of the French. The French are going to countercharge, but ouch, damage is already done. The charge buff of these Russians are severe, and they're going to wipe out 20 of the French instantly. Firing orders straight into the Russian flank here, trying to get rid of them. And this Dragoon unit is getting shot in the side and is losing a lot of men, and it will most likely break. They have managed to stop the Russian bayonet charge over here. Dang, this unit is still going. Come on, break already! I said you're going to break twice. Come on, break. Oh well. The Cuirassiers have managed to come back, even.
Our men are running,
The Russian bayonets, though, are proving too much of a difficulty for the French, and they're going to start breaking. The Danish, however, have managed to set up and are actually beating back the Suvorov units chasing them, gunning them down, and even beating one in melee. So the Danish are going to be free to send these 3 infantry units to support the charge over here. And it looks like the Cuirassiers are surrounded on all sides by French cavalry. I don't... They do have a general nearby, though, so it's going to be... It's going to be... Nah, it's going to rout, yeah. Surrounded. So the Russians now have more infantry, however the French still have their heavy cavalry alive. If they manage to extricate it away from this fight, they should be fine. Italy still has multiple fresh and good units all around that they can use. What's this? I think... Ooh. So yeah, they have multiple fresh units they could use that they could send to this fight and win the battle if they wanted to. Most of these Russians are depleted. Very tired, a couple of them. If there are a few fresh Russian units, but same could be said of Hispania. Their units are gone, and all that's left is Italy. I think these guys are going to get shot in the back. Yep, they're getting shot in the back. Yep, but they're going to extricate themselves. Ah, now they run. A shame. So this is so far a very close battle. It's going to come down to whoever can hold down the houses, I think. The Russians are going to switch tactics and try and take out the isolated Danish lines, who are going to pull back to their 4-pointer. They're going to try and defend the 4-pointer for as long as possible. Over here we see a entire French corps of 3 infantry units going back to the enemy's the coalition 4-pointer. So yeah, I think Italy's reliance on the points are going to be their undoing here, as they were not able to properly support their allies in the 2v3 engagement
The
here.
entire unit is dead, sir.
And yeah, Italy's going to return into the houses and try and set up a defensive line through here. This is going to be an interesting one. The Danish do have their general. Yep, they do have their general still alive, and they do have one infantry unit here. However, the mass of Russians is not going to care, and it's going to go straight for the house. And I don't think this one infantry unit is going to be able to stop them, really. Over here, the Russians have elected to completely ignore the French army defending this town, and it's just going to go straight for the 4-pointer. So let's check the fight out over here, which is going to happen soon. So, these Russian units are exhausted, they are depleted. They do, however, have the Moskova Grenadiers, the combat jet Moskova Grenadiers, healthy and intact. This unit will break the Danish in the house if left to its own devices. Suvorov even is alive here, supporting the men with morale. Kutuzov too is alive. So these infantry units are going to serve as a meat shield really for the Grenadiers to push into the house. The Grenadiers are getting in. A countercharge by the Danish cavalry going straight into the rear of the Grenadiers, but if they stay in prolonged combat, they're eventually going to get friendly fired and murdered by the bayonets. Ouch, yep, they are gone. So the Danes have lost their heavy cavalry. And the Cuirassiers are going to try and take the Russian infantry by surprise. However, they're going to run past the square. They're still going to lose it. Some of their units are tied down on the square currently, so they should lose this cavalry unit still. Cool. The Danish are now sending in their general trying to stop it, but the Grenadier unit here proving to be too much. So, let's check the points. For the coalition, they currently have 4 points. And the Imperials are going to try and assault this house over here to get their 4 points. So, let's see. The Imperials currently have 1, 2, potentially 2 houses, 3 houses over here. And if they manage to capture the 4, they'll be able to win by LOC. However, if the coalition manage to hold on to this house, ooh, it's a Suvorov Grenadier. 10 minutes left on the clock. So yeah, France is going to try and gun down the Suvorov unit in the house. The glitch though, the house glitch, no! Run away! Oh, they lost one. That's a shame. So yeah, they're going to try and outshoot the Grenadier unit. They're sending more of their infantry over here. The Russians have managed to capture this 1-pointer over here, so then they'll have 5 points. Most likely they will be able to get to this point as well, so there'll be 6, but still, Imperials will have a point advantage if they take this house, and it doesn't seem to be as if there are any reinforcements coming for this one house. So, this Russian Grenadier unit needs to survive for 10 minutes. They've already lost 10 men, and slowly over time the lines will be able to whittle them down. And all France has to do is wait as they slowly pick these guys off one by one. Okay, actually, when assaulting houses, here's a tip. I'd rather have the infantry for this particular house over here and line them up here, because then there's not really many infantry units here on the windows to shoot down from you, but also your units will be able to perfectly fire at these units at top here, which are in the open. So if you ever want to attack this house and you don't want to charge it and you just want to gun it down, try and put your units around this corner here and let them shoot through here, as it does reduce casualties by a large amount. Firing from here though, you're shooting at an angle into the windows and trying to maybe pick off a Russian unit over there, plus they'll be able to shoot with more guns back at you. So let's see. It's going to be a very close one. It's all going to come down to luck. If the French manage to shoot down enough Russians in 5 minutes, then they'll be able to win. The Russians, though, are running their infantry. They know what's going on. They're going to come back here and try and save their 4-pointer. It doesn't look like the French are doing enough damage, though. The units are now becoming tired and very tired. Their accuracy are failing. And yeah, the Russians only have lost 20 men in 5 minutes. It's not looking good for the French players. 22 men now. What are you doing? Okay, so the French are trying to go into the house with very tired infantry, even though there is a general nearby. Very tired French-Italian infantry versus Grenadiers of Suvorov, who also has a general nearby, is not going to cut it. It's not going to work. So there goes one unit. This Legion Rogue will also not stand against the Grenadiers, who are easily going to just wipe the French out in melee. And that, it looks like it's going to be a coalition victory here, with both of their HQs, 8 points to them. 1 minute left.
Sir, your general has been killed.
Rest in peace.
This is a black day.
So yeah, GG, very well played to both teams, back and forth as usual. Good aggressive plays from the coalition, which won them the game here.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
So, with that, the game ends. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Here are the stats if you want to look at them. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye.